Welcome to Real Talk live on DISCO100 Radio. I'm back in the studio. It's been about a couple weeks. I have my full-time co-host, Noak Hardin, National Economic Advisor. What's going on, bro? It's been about 2 weeks, man. Thank you for holding it down. You and Leonard, y'all did a wonderful job last week. Y'all be vibing, bro.
Yeah, man, that's a good brother, man. You know, I love his company, and his knowledge. He really incite me.
Right. One thing I could tell about the organization, when one man is down, somebody steps up. So I really appreciate it. Also have our National Field Director, Miss Kimberly Hartfield. What's going on,
Hey,
Kim?
y'all.
So nice to see her.
Yeah, she got her notes with her today. At the bottom of the hour, we're going to have the newly elected sheriff, Mr. Owens, will be in the studio. He's the first black African-American sheriff here in Cobb County. He made history. I don't really know the guy, whatever. I know during conversations or whatever, he wants to bring change to Cobb County. So we're going to give him a chance, but he still got to be accountable, though.
Exactly.
I know we have some questions for him, whatever. So let's kind of do some, basically, Kim, I know we're going to start bridging this gap. Again, me, you, and Kyle Jones. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to the studio. Tell the viewers why it's important that we're trying to bridge this gap with the law enforcement and elected officials, as far as when it comes to us as the minorities in the community, we call it law enforcement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we recognize as an organization and just as a people, period, that that we've spent a lot of time and continue to spend a lot of time on protesting and marching and rallying the people, trying to bring attention to the fact that our civil rights are being violated,
Right.
In the streets by these police officers. And so we recognize that the time has now come for us to advance, the conversation, to advance the awareness and to move into another phase of what you have initialed as bridging the gap. And the gap being between the law enforcement and the community. There is a huge gap,
Big gap. Right.
in between it. So how do we bridge that moving forward? And that is the initiative that we've started to embark on, that we want to expand.
Yeah.
Right. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because it got to be understood from the outset that, security is the backbone to this nation. We got to have security not only in the streets, but also in our homes, because if we allow, certain criminal behaviors to go unchecked, so we need the police.
Of course.
We ain't gonna be like we silly or nothing like that.
Right.
Like, we don't need the police. We need the police, but we need the police to be proper representation of what they service is supposed to represent.
Correct.
You can't say you're a officer or the justice of peace and you ain't really about justice or peace.
There you go.
Right. Kim, kind of explain the time we met with Marietta and Cobb County. Cobb County was really intense. Marietta tried to work with us, but Cobb, because me living in Cobb had always been known to be the worst police force in Cobb County.
In the metro.
Right. I wish Kyle was here as well, because he was objecting to a lot of stuff about they claim when it comes to African Americans. Kind of explain to the viewers how intense, because hard questions was asked.
Yes.
And they kept voiding your questions.
Yeah, I mean, with Marietta City, we started with them, and we were well received in terms of being listened to and heard, and they tried to really understand what I'm saying. I remember even a couple of times the officers was like, well, when you put it that way, I hadn't thought of it that way, type of thing.
Right.
So they were at least willing to listen with Marietta City.
But not Cobb County.
Cobb County was a lot more
Very
defensive right off the rip. I mean, as soon as I said the two words in my introductory to them, the two words of racial reckoning, they shut all the way down after that.
And that was
not only did they not admit that there was a problem, but they flat out I mean, they denied that there ever was. I mean, they cited the hanging of the Jewish man back in the day,
Right.
as like the last incident of racial violence, and I mean, perpetrated by the police department type of thing.
Right.
And then flat out said that there is no systemic racism in Cobb County Police Department. I mean,
We all know that's not true.
but at the same time, when they wanted to just throw out, because they came prepared with all the different programs or whatever it is that they wanted to tout. Right. But when we started talking about the actual statistics and numbers, and what they mean, they said, well, we do all these internal reviews and we don't see what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, well, that is exactly what it is we need to talk about. You guys have those internal numbers, but I still haven't gotten those records.
They're supposed to email you something.
Yes.
Right? Never received it?
No. When you look it up, it's still pending.
Wow. And that's been over about, what, 2 or 3 months?
Yes. So the Freedom of Information Act, that's why I requested some,
I remember that,
some records.
Right.
Still haven't gotten them.
Anything you want to add? No?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the trick of the trade. They pretend that certain things is not at foot so that you will be kind of like off guard.
Right.
But here it is, because they can deny it if you don't have no evidence.
Right.
See, and it's just like how we view crime. We know that you got to have evidence in order to hide a crime. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you can't prove it, it don't exist. Right. So you ain't got no proof of it, because that's what they looking for. Where's your proof? So as long as they can create their own set of facts, and you ain't got no proof to bag up your opinion, then your opinion is only an opinion. Right. You know?
And at the same time, though, like I brought up at the meeting, Georgia's a state that among many that don't collect records like that. They don't collect that type of information for us to be able, that data. Right. So the reporting, the documentation of everything is a very big key. And as you know how with the vaccine rollout, how they had to make from the federal level, they had to send out the direction for all these people to start recording the race of the people who's getting the vaccine, so that we know. Right. We know that's how we know that that Black people are not getting access to the vaccine at the rate that white people are. But at first, they weren't even collecting. Not all of them. They weren't even collecting the information that would tell us that. Right. So it's the same thing with police violence. They will try to lump in legitimate arrests, if you want to call it that. Arrests where there was an armed person, or whatever they would call in a legitimate. They try to lump those arrests in with the police brutality cases. Right. Right. And then try to say, well, we don't see a problem here because, the numbers don't bear out what you're saying. That's because you're including numbers that we're not even talking about. Right. We're not talking about the legitimate arrests and the legitimate encounters. We're talking about the ones where rights have been violated and that they don't keep that type of data. Right. So,
I just wanted, first of all, before we go forward, let's kind of give our respects to Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
This is the first year anniversary of her being murdered. And I know throughout the country, people are celebrating that.
Not celebrating, but commemorating.
I'm sorry, used the wrong word. It's just the fact now we're coming up on the George Floyd trial about to start. Everything is coming.
No, they
at the
settled.
same
They
time.
settled.
They settled, but they still going. They still having a criminal case.
Oh yeah, the criminal. Yeah, prosecution.
Money ain't gonna bring back. I hate when they do that because for some reason, like you said, Kim, is differently. You kind of explain it to me, even though they get awarded silver, there's still no justice.
Right, and I think
this money, man, and it's like.
Well, I mean, I appreciate that they.
Happen,
I appreciate that they do it. Like how Ben Crump said, white people get to have both. They get to have a civil and a criminal case.
Yep. But lately, man, they haven't been getting convicted criminal. They just been getting money.
Oh well, what you mean lately? That's always been the case. I mean, it's a rarity
Sandra Bland was like that.
Yeah, it's a rarity that we get
Trayvon Martin
convictions.
family got money. Did they get money? I don't think they got money.
They got sued.
because
He is-
his
they are
was
currently
you know
being
his
sued.
was
You're
against
correct.
Zimmerman instead of like the
Right.
city or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But
But I'm just glad, man, because it's very important we bridge that gap because when I was in Ohio, we have an open door policy with the Toledo police. I don't know if y'all seen the video where I seen 3 young men was pulled over. I don't know what was going on. I know the police got to do their job, but once I got the facts, what was going on, they were basically being racially profiled. You know, they say their windows was tinted. I mean, they had the dog, but when me, John, and Jeanette pulled up, and I mentioned something, they just whole attitude changed and backed away. You know what I'm saying? So it's a problem.
yeah.
Yep.
There's a problem.
This is a very volatile period, as we know through our history. You know, whenever progress is made in any form or fashion towards equality, towards
That's
justice
this
and
country's
accountability,
changing, man. They nervous.
there's an instant
Yeah.
and fierce backlash.
That's
And
what's
so
going on
now, not only do we have this backlash politically, you know, but we're also having it socially.
Right. I see
because-
you, Kim. When you go, man, you know I got to tease you. When you go I know you got 2 Facebook pages. When you coming out of Facebook, and then you arguing with your other Facebook page, pretty soon that's gonna be messed up.
You know,
leave them folks alone.
Speaking
I
truth
be
to
messing
power
with it.
is just a hobby of mine. It's just something I have to do every day.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but yeah,
It's definitely a change going on.
It's
Y'all
a
don't see
change,
it?
and the backlash is there.
The backlash is definitely
that
there.
follows, and like I said, it's a historical pattern
Right.
that we have come to expect,
feeling
and so we
threatened.
just have to. Yeah, they feel
They feel
they know
threatened right
that
now.
you know the demographics have changed, and they
Now,
and
what's
white
this-
supremacy
what's this
is
new
being
law
threatened.
they're trying to change for voting here in Georgia. They was down. They've been protesting for the last couple of weeks. I know I've been out of
Yeah,
out
a lot
sync
of
for minute. You know
they
what they
try
talking
to
about
yeah,
their
a lot
ID or something,
A lot of
something.
a few you know new voter restriction
which
laws.
will affect the minority correct community basically.
Yeah, and rural and the young
they mad 'cause
young
the
adult
state went blue.
That's
That's what it is. They mad the state went blue.
yeah. Instantly the backlash came where
Quickly.
they want to get rid of souls to the Sunday voting.
Absentee
you know,
ballot or something.
right.
something.
Souls to the polls they want to get rid of. They want to decrease the
Absentee voting.
It was
the
something about
absent-
that, right?
no excuse absentee. Like right now, you know, you don't have to have a reason to request an absentee ballot.
Wow.
But they want to go back to where it's only restricted for military or, you know, the infirmed
Elders.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
Wow.
But that would have affected me. Like this last time in November, I was out of state for my job. So I had to request an absentee ballot. I wasn't sick or I'm not in the military. But if they have their
Oh,
way,
then one less vote.
that would have they wouldn't have
You wouldn't be able to
I
vote,
wouldn't
right.
have qualified for an
Wow,
absentee ballot.
That's gonna hurt y'all.
Even though I'm out of state and all this.
so
and
that law
but
passed, didn't it?
I think it passed out of the committee and everything, but it's not like a law on the books yet. It has to
Okay.
go through its different phases. But as soon as they do, if it does get that far, I know in one other state, Arizona, I think it is one other state, it did get as far as the governor signing it into law. But like the very next day, a few hours later, they got a lawsuit on their hands. So that's what I
Okay.
fully expect to happen in Georgia
Georgia,
and everywhere
okay.
else where they try it.
Right.
If it gets out of committee and if it gets to the point where the governor signs it, then lawsuits will immediately follow.
Kick in. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gonna challenge at the spring level. Hey,
Right.
but you know, just thinking about politics, you know, because Donald Trump, you know, he still got his fingerprints all over the
yeah.
Republican Party,
Right.
all over their throat.
They scared of that man,
Actually,
bro. I think I don't mean to cut you off. I think he's going behind. I think he behind the scenes going after that governor in New York. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah,
They went from sexual harassment to like other stuff now. I mean, have you been reading it lately?
Yeah,
Somebody's attacking him behind. When they come
No,
after you, they come after you, boy.
Well, what started the heat on him was the fact that was he himself. I mean,
No, I ain't saying that he
Cuomo.
not.
Cuomo.
No, I ain't
I'm
saying
talking
he
about even
not.
before the sexual harassment stuff. It was those nursing home
I heard,
deaths
and he was
stuff.
falsifying.
Exactly. And meanwhile, you know,
Remember him and Trump was going at it.
right. So that just got discovered. That got discovered, or the whistle got blown on that in house. I don't think the Republicans got nothing to do with what's going on with Cuomo right now,
Right.
because it is his own aides, his
It was to the
own
point they
administration.
loved him in New York tomorrow, running for president. Like, bam.
Well, you
life
know,
was
because
done
at the
changed,
time there
boy.
was no leadership on the national level. Cuomo was filling a leadership void at that time when he was giving those daily press conferences with nothing but the facts and all this and that.
But he said he ain't resigned.
You know,
now.
yeah, that's what he say. But
So he's facing possible criminal charges.
yeah, this last one they had to refer it to the police department because it was actual assaults being alleged,
Wow.
as opposed to just not just, you know, like it's minimum, but as opposed to harassment, it had crossed the line over to an assault.
I'm sorry, no, I know you were saying me to cut you off. I think you were saying.
No,
something.
I was just speaking on the terms of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump had been sending out carrying calls to the Republican Party.
Mhm.
So the Republican Party has been trying to placate to him, you know, getting them all types of different perches and stuff like that, because they plan on having
He campaigning right now, bro.
yeah.
Don't be surprised.
Matter of fact, what he told them that he told his supporters not to donate to the Republican Party, donate directly to his
Him.
account. Directly
And then he
to
came
him.
out and said, Herschel Walker, why don't you run against Womack? Did you see that, Kim?
Yes, I did.
I'm telling you what he's doing. He's setting it up, man.
Herschel Walker don't even live in Georgia no more.
Where you stay at now?
And one of the, I forget, but I remember reading he doesn't even live in Georgia. His resident is not. He's not a Georgia resident at this time,
Oh, okay.
and hasn't been for some
They
years.
love some Herschel Walker. Wow.
Of course they
love
do.
some Herschel Walker, boy.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Very
It's
interesting.
already an interesting political season because
Already.
you know the only thing that the Republicans have been able to unite around, and this tell you how desperate they are. They've only been able to unite around saying no to the American Rescue Plan, the legislation, you know, Biden's
Stimulus
agenda
package,
and all that.
every Republican said no.
Said no.
Every one
That's the
of them.
only thing that
talking
they've been
about-
able to
that's why
unite around.
voting-
Everything else is divided on a civil war going
That's
on.
why
with them.
vote matters, bro. Every Republican voted no on that stimulus check package. Huh? Because we got the
Control of the
House,
House
we
and
got
the
the
Senate.
we got the
Barely, we have a bare.
it was a 50-49 again, right?
So we have a. Well, she
Yeah,
didn't
she
have
make the
to.
fun- not
She didn't
this
have
one,
to
yeah.
on this one because somebody set out the vote, and so
Right.
it wasn't necessary. But it was 50-49.
So why did just tell everybody down on that? Why did the Republicans not vote for it?
They say that all of a sudden they want to try to. Oh, we're putting too much debt on our grandchildren to pay for. Now they want to be fiscally responsible. They think that
In the future, I guess.
Yeah, they think that it's too much money. I mean, they have all these. They're not even real complaints. They're so disingenuous, you know, because like they weren't caring about the deficit when they gave Trump signed on to that tax cut for the rich that ballooned the deficit out of control. The trade wars and the tariffs and stuff, they weren't talking about the deficit and the economy then, but soon as it come time
So are
to
you familiar with the
help-
stimulus
help,
package a little bit?
working class people, that's when they want to, you know, try to talk about being conservative with the money.
Right. Are you familiar with the
I mean, a lot of
I
it,
know
yeah.
it's 1.9 trillion.
Trillion, yeah.
So what do that entails?
Oh gosh,
I know.
yeah, it's a lot. I mean, the most exciting part about it that I see, they talk a lot about the child tax credit,
Okay.
and how it's not going to be just like a one-time check that you get at your income
I
tax.
heard you get an ongoing.
It's going to be a recurring payment. They
unemployment.
have it set up like how Social Security is set up for old people or the elderly,
Wow.
where, you know, they get a Social Security check every month. Because what they saw was that the two groups of people who are the poorest are old people and young people, as far as, you know, old people and children. So that was the reason why old people got the Social Security in the first place, because they're retired, they don't make as much money.
Right.
You know, they needed something. And so so Social Security came about that way. Well, same thing with children. Children don't work either for the most, you know what I mean? So, but, so this bill is set up to where they're going to be getting recurring checks. Parents of children are going to be getting recurring checks as if it was like
each child is
social security
14,
check, for children though.
Is it each child 1,400 or
For this no, that's just for the that's just for the
first?
for this stimulus or rescue bill that they're talking about. But in terms of the child tax credit, I mean, an average family of four, two parents and 2 kids, just say that's like almost $10,000 a month.
Wow.
The way it breaks
They said
down.
It made history as far as what they did.
Yeah, they said that it'll lift half of the children out of poverty on a permanent, level. So it's a lot of things. What?
I don't agree with that because
Go ahead.
I don't agree with that because it ain't the kids spending the money. Some damn stupid ass parents.
By the time some of our parents get the money, they're gonna be balling out, buying bottles, doing all the other stuff. So why does that have to do with the kids? Ain't like they gonna put it. I hate to say it. Ain't like. I hate to say this. Most of us gonna take that money and put it somewhere where it's gonna draw interest for the grandkids when they get older. That money gonna be gone within 2 days.
It works just like
Let them get on Friday. Somebody club Friday night will get the bottles and everything.
Look, it would work like how child support does in terms of, and I mean, I know what the stereotype is, but by and large, trust me, as a woman, as a mother who receives child support from my ex-husband, by and large, that money goes towards housing. If I want my kid to be in a better school, right? And I need a better housing situation so that he can go to a better school type of thing. That's what that money is.
Oh, so you saying, okay, I misinterpreted, I'm sorry. So you saying the money that the $1 trillion they're saying can be used for that particular stuff.
Anything,
not
yeah.
versus breaking it down to give us money right now.
No, they're doing that too. They're going to give us a check, right off the rip. But I'm talking about on a recurring basis, on a monthly basis. It's just going to be, just
ongoing income coming in.
It's just it's just money coming into the household.
And how long is it gonna last?
They trying to make it permanent.
Wow.
They're trying to make it permanent right now.
I'm
That's
lost
what
for
I'm
real
trying
now.
to tell y'all. It's like Social Security.
Okay, go back, G-Rose, I'm sorry. Go back about 3 sentences. I'm lost. So you said what they trying to do is give people money every month now?
Yes.
So instead of one $14 check, they trying to give us money every month.
Yes. They're going to give that to you,
Call. We got a
but
call right. Yeah, probably.
City.
so
See the local president of Toledo chapter. I
If
told
you
her to call
can-
and give us an update.
if you can
Hold that thought,
imagine.
y'all. Real talk with New Order. This is Gerald. Where you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, Gerald, it's CD. I was just calling to check in. We are just finishing up here in Toledo with our Brianna Day rally.
Now, is it true that we actually made, I know the numbers was not that large, we made history in Toledo. Has there ever been a Brianna thing in Toledo, Ohio?
No, they haven't. This is our first annual Brianna Day here in Toledo.
Okay,
And,
kind of explain how it went today. And first of all, I'm very proud of you. City is the local president of the Toledo chapter.
Hey, City.
And I just told her to be patient,
Hey.
and once things get organized. So I really want to thank you, Sabrina, Melissa, Anika. Did Miss Coley make it out, Dolores?
Yes, she did.
Okay, so the ones committed came then, right? Your top people?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
the CSRN came too?
Yes, sir. They were there, and we had a few other people that was there
Okay.
as well. The news stations came. The Toledo Blade came. Channel
Okay, did
11,
you get the
Channel
chance to
13.
do an interview?
I did get an interview with 11 and 13.
Okay, kind of explain why it was important to do the Breonna Taylor in Toledo.
Well, today marks the 1 year death of Breonna Taylor. And although there was a cash settlement with her family, justice had not been served for her family.
Right.
The police officers were not held accountable. They were charged initially with them shooting into the apartment building because other people could have been injured, but they wasn't charged for shooting directly for actually killing her. So we just wanted to honor her today and just continue to fight for justice for her.
Okay. Did a young lady named Dana or Valerie showed up? I know you really don't know their faces. They're just like members. Are you not
There
sure?
was there was a lady Yeah, Valerie Collins. She did show up, and I actually added her on my Facebook.
Okay.
And, gave her some information, but she was there. She was there, and she played music with us, and she was there. She was actually a good participant.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm very, very proud. I'm glad I had the chance to, myself and John and Jeanette met with y'all last week. You know, once things get going, y'all really going to be doing very, very great things in Toledo. I'm very, very proud. And I see your soldiers who you got, because things don't happen overnight, but I got much confidence in you, whatever. So I'm looking forward to seeing the news clippings tonight. Anything else you'd like to say?
Nope, just wanted to let you know it went well, and we just wrapped it up, and we are all safe and in good standing, and it was very peaceful.
Okay. And I'm looking forward to talking to on Tuesday night for our weekly conference call.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right. You
All right,
too.
you
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was City Dotson, who's the local president of the Toledo chapter. She's doing a wonderful job, and I'm just excited, man, of her taking on that big voyage. But I think she's ready to take on that challenge. And I told her, just be patient,
Yeah.
because when I first started New Orleans, I ain't had people like I have you all. Like, for example, Noki, you in here committed all the time, every Saturday. Kim, when you're available, you there. So she's gonna go through some ups and downs, but she got about 5 top soldiers really got her back with her. But I can't get no black males. Why is that? Can I ask y'all that? I don't know. The women, even in New Orleans, the backbone of the organization. I think we're kind of even in the Atlanta chapter, but I can't get no black males up there, man. I'm trying. Give me your opinion on that, bro. It's like they say the black women is the backbone of the black church, they say too. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, man.
Well, for most part, a lot of men don't like to follow instruction. And
For real?
That's because they don't have no structure. See, if you ain't got no structure in place, it's hard. It's almost like trying to organize confusion.
But you came on board, don't know.
Yeah,
You
because
feel me?
yeah, because see,
There's some good people out there, man.
it's a lot of
It's
good.
hard to find them, man.
It's a lot of good men, but the man got to be. He got to already have or be
Structure.
Yeah, he got to already be groomed into taking leads. You know what I'm saying? Because see, one thing that we got to understand about our manhood is that we examples. So we lead by our example.
Mm-hmm.
But you got some people that don't know how to follow. So they don't even know how to set an example because they ain't never been followers.
Right.
The best leaders was the best followers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody didn't just come in and become a leader. Hey, you ain't born leader.
That's true.
People say that, but that's just a false
I'm just
narrative.
praying, man, because it's a lot of women because they can use them as security as well.
Yeah, I think
know.
that a
Go ahead,
lot
Kim.
of black men, or men in general, but particularly black men, I think that there's like a sense of where you kind of give up hope, a sense of hopelessness, to where like, what's the point in this type of
Because so
thing?
much going on.
I'm sick of marching, and
Right.
that kind of stuff, and they in dealing with their emotions,
Right.
which men already have a harder time doing than women.
Right.
They're on, there's a couple of modes. It's either fight mode, or I'm just gonna do this by myself. So it's kind of that's a
Right.
loaded question.
Well, our guest came in, the new elected first African-American sheriff in Cobb County. I never met you, sir, Mr. Owens, but I heard great things about you. I see that you're trying to make change in Cobb County. Just a little bit about myself and the organization. I've been in Cobb for a minute. I remember, having rallies and protests with Neil Warren. I know inmates still have rights, even though you're locked up.
Right.
There's been a lot of people found dead in the Cobb County jail, and things like that. Like I said, I know it's not a hotel, but I feel that a lot of black officials has been elected in Cobb County, and I feel change is coming.
Right.
So kind of, first of all, let me introduce you to
Yeah.
a couple of my staff members.
Absolutely.
This is Miss Kimberly Hartfield.
We've met.
Pleasure.
She's like my national field director.
Right.
A matter of fact, if I would call you for a meeting or whatever, she'd kind of be with me. And that's Mr. Noak Harding,
How you doing?
who's
Pleasure.
the economic advisor for the organization.
Okay.
And a matter of fact, Mr. Brody, told me or think about me or whatever. But it was kind of weird because how you just gave out your phone number. You didn't know me, but you was very acceptable of that.
Right,
well.
right.
So kind of this is your flow. Kind of introduce yourself, and why did you run for sheriff here in Cobb County? If you don't mind
Great.
me
Well,
asking?
first and foremost, thank you for having me. I'm sorry it took us a minute to
No,
get
you actually on
connected.
time early. You fine.
So, well, that's great.
Okay.
So, for y'all don't know, my name is Craig Owens. I'm the newly elected sheriff of Cobb County. I've been in office almost 73 days now.
Okay.
So everything is going well at this point. Extremely busy, but that's what you want.
Gotcha.
I decided to run over a year and a half ago because I knew our county needed change, and I felt like I was the one who can bring change forward. And I said, I would tell people, if not me, why not me?
Right.
So I took it upon myself to get into the race. I ran on a platform of truth, trust, and transparency, which is something I truly believe our county was lacking.
Gotcha.
And I need to bring that back for us to fulfill what we should be doing as public servants.
I would never
So-
thought I'd see this day. 'Cause I'm going way back with Mayor Bacon and Smart. Because I actually had the first march in Cobb County in 2001. You know, where people were afraid to come to Cobb County. But let me remind you, all police are not bad. All
Right,
sheriffs
absolutely.
Are not, we need you all.
Right.
It's just sometimes this county is known. Hey, don't drive that late at night down South Cobb. And you know what I'm talking about,
Right.
Kim.
Yeah,
I know
man.
Noki's
Yeah.
not from here.
Yeah,
but-
we've had that stigma here in Cobb ever since I've been in high school.
So you used
up
to
in
hear
Westport.
about all that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. But this is actually not your first time meeting. You probably don't remember. When I was a young lieutenant, during one of your first marches you had up here when George Hatfield was the chief,
Well, right, go,
I
okay.
met you then when you came to the office to see him. So I was his adjutant during that time
Okay,
frame.
okay,
So that's when we first met. It was several years ago, but I think we both aged a little bit, but it's been a time from that time frame.
Right.
Sheriff, was there you know how Joe Biden likes to he recalls that the moment that he decided to get in the race was after Charlottesville. Was there a particular moment dealing with Sheriff Warren that
Got
you
me into it.
decided to say, you know what?
Not in one particular moment. I think several things. And the main thing is just hearing the deputies talk from being at the gas pumps where we fuel up at, and just around the county, just how they were didn't like the atmosphere. They say we've been there forever, having the same leadership, no change, and they needed change.
And so that was internally.
internal. So that kind of got me started. I said, well, you know what? And then I started doing a little bit more research about what's happening and all the unfortunate deaths was happening there. So I said, we got to do better, and we must.
Yeah.
So I figured now's the right time to jump into the ring and try to be the next sheriff of Cobb County.
Yeah.
And you must. I remember, old boy tried to run. I can't think of his name. His last name was Good. I can't think of his name. He tried for several times. But
Oh,
was this your first time?
This
running?
is my first time running.
Wow.
I was very successful, of course,
Yes.
since I won. I think you're talking about Mr.
Good
Gilstrap.
Gilstrap.
Right.
Yeah.
He's probably ran six or seven times.
Right.
Yes.
And you just came out the gate and just took it.
Right. You know, I had I think what got me where I am today is because I have a lot of community involvement over the years. I've worked extensively in the South Cobb area with the youth and in the high schools, youth sports,
Like Mapleton
coaching.
area?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So I did a lot of work down there, and a lot of people from that side of Cobb County knows me very well.
Okay.
So I think that really got me a good base. So I had a good base starting with, and it just kind of just spread through the whole county. I've been with the police department for over 30 years before I retired.
okay.
So I've worked everywhere in Cobb County and built great relationships throughout my tenure. So
You
I
worked
think
with Chief Hauser too.
yes,
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So when I started a long time ago, I just kind of telling my age. It was Chief Bennett when I first came here, and
I don't remember him
Right.
before I moved down.
oh yeah, that was almost 30 years ago. Bennett, and then we had Director Hightower who left Cobb and became the GBI director.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, actually, what we're doing right now has nothing to we haven't met with you yet, but we having a thing called Bridging the Gap.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're trying to remember back in the day, certain people look at police like serve and protect.
Right.
In our communities, like they're afraid right now. So we're trying to meet with these chief of polices and elected officials and things like that to try to bridge this gap. And we done had a meeting with Deputy Chief Farrell,
Mm-hmm.
and also we
From
met-
Marietta?
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
then we met with what's his name?
Tim's on
Tim Cox.
Yeah.
From
Cobb.
the county.
County.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can kind of see the difference
Mhm.
of the mentality between them two or whatever.
Right.
So we're just trying to, make sure that everybody's treated equally.
Right.
Now, if you break, if you do something wrong, you deserve to be punished.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, well, of course, quite sure when you're incarcerated, you still have rights.
Right. And, everyone, whether you do anything wrong or not, should be treated with dignity and respect, regardless. And that's something, a part of that culture change I brought forth as becoming a new sheriff. Everyone that walk between these doors here at Cobb County Detention Center from this point on, if they haven't been, they will be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of whatever crime they committed. Okay. So I think that is very important for us. Okay. I think, and I'm in agreement with you regarding bridging the gap. I think that is something important. As a chief law enforcement official of this county, I think it's my duty as well to talk to the chiefs, make sure we're all on the same accord, and how they're policing and how I'm doing my business, and making sure we're doing things the right way to treat everyone with dignity and respect. So I think I have some responsibility in that as well. So I thank you for doing that, because I think it's a great thing to do. Right.
I noticed. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. How do you address the big old elephant in the room of racism when it comes to bridging this gap, when it comes to changing the culture, when it just, because the resistance that we feel from or felt from other, law enforcement agencies is the defensiveness behind, racism.
Right. Yeah. And it's a great point, a great question, rather. It takes a lot of work, first and foremost, and you got to have, like what I like to say is, have courageous conversations. People don't like to have courageous conversations because sometimes the feelings get hurt, or they get within themselves and don't want to just be frank and honest. But we got to be frank and honest. If it's an issue, we got to discuss it, and we got to tell the truth about it. And sometimes, I guess you say airing your dirty laundry is what a lot of folks don't want to do. But to tell the truth, you got to tell the truth. And we got to step up when we do wrong, and then fix those issues when we do wrong, and then make sure we put policies and procedures in place so they don't occur again. So that culture divide is a big thing. It being the first, like I'm the first African American sheriff, is a big thing for Cobb County.
You're going to take heat just being that.
Just being the first. I have a lot of expectations. It's sometimes people say it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Being the first of anything, because people have so much expectations of you to do, being the first. And you don't want that. For me, I don't want to let anyone down, especially people who voted for me. I have a huge following, and they trust me to do the right thing. So I do not want to let anyone down. So that, it's a kind of little weight on your back, Well,
I noticed that you work closely with Rich Pellegrino and Ben Williams, some local organizations. So I can say that you do kind of have that open door policy, if there's an issue, whatever. So I'm quite sure you're going to, keep to your word.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think, and first and foremost, this is my first time being elected as a politician, and I never ever thought I'd be a politician. Right. I've been a lawman my whole life, but not a politician. So I'm learning the politics of this job. It's interesting. Trust it is very interesting.
I bet, and that's what I mean by like that elephant in the room, and getting over that hump, because when you're talking about a culture change, culture shift,
You're right.
I mean, it sounds like what you were saying as far as the internal discussions that y'all had. It sounds like a bunch of these good apples that we keep hearing about got together and was like, we got to do something different, and we need you to,
Yeah, you're right. And being the first, and also as you're changing this culture, when you really discussing about racism, it's a whole different atmosphere when I walk in the room, because I'm a black guy.
So they got to straighten up. Anyway.
Well, you can't, do things you might have done before, because now you have an African American male or black male in the room who they know, if they don't know, ain't going to tolerate any foolishness. Right. And you're not going to treat my people or anyone without respect. So it's a big difference, yes. But I can tell you, up to this point, I've had some great conversations with all the city police chiefs and the county police chief.
Oh, yeah, sat down and everything.
Absolutely. That was one of the primary things I want to do.
I think I seen that on the news.
I wanted to meet with them and let them understand what my vision was, how I'm running our office going forward, how we can work together collectively to make Cobb County the safest community in the state of Georgia. And I just wanted to make sure we was on the same sheet of music. Everyone brings someone to my facility. If it's going to be someone getting incarcerated, they're going to eventually come down to kind of services, which is where my jail is. Right. So we all have to have that good working relationship. Right. So they're going to have to, get in line with what the sheriff's saying. And hate this saying this for this new cliche, but there's a new sheriff in town.
I've been saying it since you got elected. Right. Proudly saying it. Too.
And we're not, and I tell my employees, we'll never, ever do what we did before. We're not looking back. We're going forward. Please get on this locomotive, going straight ahead.
I think the whole mentality of Cobb County is going that way, Kim.
Yeah.
Even though that meeting was kind of intense, but change has, I never thought it'd be this many black elected officials in
Yeah.
this county right now.
Yeah.
I work with Lisa Cupid.
Yeah.
How many is you, Lisa Cupid, Mr. Brody? Who else? How many?
Jerica Richardson, as well as Monique Sheffield.
Okay. Where area she's at?
Monique has District 4, which is down in South Cobb County, Mapleton area.
Okay.
And Jerica has District 2, which kind of sounds crazy, but which is the East Cobb area. Right.
So
So,
I
yeah.
never thought, and in Cobb County, it's more Caucasian people in Cobb, right?
Yes, it is. But I'll tell you, Cobb is becoming a very diverse county. Very diverse. You have Cobb has the second highest population of Hispanics. We have a huge Brazilian population.
For real?
Yes. So Cobb is
came
becoming a very diverse.
Okay. I know Gwinnett got a big
Yeah.
population.
Gwinnett's number one,
I figured that,
and
yeah.
Cobb is number 2.
Okay.
Right. And then Cobb has a huge Brazilian population as well. And we also have a fairly growing Korean population. So Cobb is becoming a very diverse county. So it's like I tell when I'm hiring, I say we need to be a reflection of the county we serve. So we got to have some diversity in our hiring when I'm hiring people. I got to look for Koreans, I got to look for Brazilians, I got to look for Hispanics. I got to look for everything that we serve here in the county so we can have a diverse force.
Right.
And speaking of hiring, I don't know the details, but I would imagine that the recruiting process has been maybe challenging in some respects in terms of actually recruiting the type of
Yes,
people you see.
it has been, and I can tell you honestly, everyone right now across the Metro Atlanta area is looking for police officers and/or deputies.
For real?
And yes, so everyone is shopping around trying to get the best for them. But I'm telling you, I'm on I like to say a full court press right now. Okay. I'm hitting recruiting extremely hard.
Yeah.
We currently have like 71 vacancies for our deputies and 36 vacancies for our civilian personnel.
At a large number?
Well, honestly, it's not compared to some of the other agencies. So we're not as bad as some of the other ones, but I don't want to have that many. So we're hitting it very hard now. We got a big recruiting drive going. We're running some ads in some local newspapers and some radios as well. We got a couple billboards up.
How do you overcome? We were just talking before you came about the challenges of getting participation from Black men in civil rights movements and things. How do you overcome the objection of, why would I want to join the police department when
you're doing this to my people? Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you want to say just to say, but yeah, absolutely. So I think what makes that easier for me is I look like them.
Right. That's
and I think that makes a difference. Now you can see the guy that's in overall charge of this office looks like you.
Yeah.
And that makes it a lot easier for me sometimes to go in and speak. Well, it makes me easy all the time to go speak, to be honest with you. But I think it makes them easier to connect with me because now hopefully they can connect with me. So look, who would have thought 30 years ago that a Black male would ever be the sheriff in Cobb County?
15 years ago.
Right. So, right. Exactly. But now you see him as the chief law enforcement executive in this county. Right. If he can be that, so that may be a possibility for me to get in this profession and be successful as well. So that's kind of how I'm getting through that a little bit. But we're having some good success right now. I mean, we're working very hard trying to hire a diverse workforce, and I think we're doing very well currently.
Yeah, because we talk about how, if we're gonna get rid of these bad apples, quote unquote, out of the police department, then we have to be able to replace them with someone,
Absolutely.
So the recruitment effort, I imagine, because at the same time, I don't know in Cobb that there is not required that they have a degree, right?
No.
But I know that
what is the qualifications? That's a good
you have to be to be a non-sworn. We can actually hire you at 18 years of age. You can start working in our administrative services, either our detention center, as a detention officer at 18. And once you return the age of 21, you can go to be a sworn deputy if you choose that career path. So we can hire you at 18
post-certified
and get post-certified at age 21 to go to school.
Right. You got something?
Yeah, I was gonna say congratulations first of all.
Well, thank you.
Because it's a pleasure meeting somebody like you said, look like us.
Right.
Who are really gonna have the apathy, because sometimes you run into people's who have a lack of sympathy, to the people that they supposed to be put serving and protecting. But I was gonna say this, by me being from Illinois, it's a different type of structure, and listening to your conversation let me know you candid. But in Illinois, it's more like organized crime, even in the ranks of the police or law enforcement. It's all organized.
Right.
When I came down here and I met some of the people who are in those roles, they more respectful and accepted to those of us that's not in law enforcement. And I'd like to say thank you for that.
All right. Thank you.
But my question to you would be this here, is that the men and women that's being incarcerated in your jail,
Right.
They got to be rehabilitated to the point to come back out into society, because they are potential taxpayers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And voters.
Yeah, and voters. And we got to be able to put them back into the system. You know, what's your take on that?
That's a good question. I'm glad y'all hit me with some good questions. So, as part of me being elected, you know, I knew in my own mind, heart, and soul that I have to do something for those that's incarcerated. They got there for a reason, you know, whether it's for lack of job, lack of education, or etc. What can I do once I become sheriff to make them better, productive citizens once they get out of my facility? So I look very hard to that as I was getting elected and since I've been in office. So we got some great things in place. If you bear with me a couple of minutes, I'll explain them to you. So we was able to make contact with some of our local businesses here in Cobb County, and we're going to have some contracts with them where they'll come in and provide some job service training for some of these men and women coming out of the facility. Meaning and I'm not just talking about a minimum wage job. We're talking about jobs making $15 to $20 an hour, so they can have a sustained lifestyle with benefits and et cetera going forward. And that way they can be successful once they got a facility. But not only did we stop there, we looked at some of our local unions like IBEW, say, what can you do to help us out? And I spoke to them during the election period as well. And they have some apprenticeship programs that some of our individuals hopefully can qualify for, that can be in plumbing, that can be in HVAC, that can be in electrical work, pipe fitting, etc. These are also jobs that pay between $20 and $25 an hour to get them a great establishment getting out as well. Then we didn't stop there. I went in, we also in partnership right now, and hopefully we'll have something signed within the next couple of weeks with the Urban League. The Urban League will come in and first teach us them how to prepare for jobs, that prepare them to finish, get their high school education, their GED, as well as teach them life parenting skills going forward. Because we have a lot of young men and women there between the ages of 17 and 25 who are parents and don't know how to be parents. So we want to make sure they understand how to take care of their children appropriately when they get out and do the right things for them and get them education. They need to be successful. They also teach them how to do resumes. They teach them how to prepare for a job. And not only that it stops there, once they get out, they continue to work with them on a daily basis as they go through this culture change and shock back into civilization, you know, working, and make sure they work with them the whole time. So we putting things in place to take care of the individuals that come out of our facilities going forward.
Well, I can tell you that, go ahead, Disco.
All right, Mr. We have 3 questions for you from Maria Harris.
Yeah, she's up.
She said, hello, I'm Maria Harris.
Hello.
She should be calling in. She usually call in. Hello, I'm Maria Harris, political strategist for New Order. My question is, how far are you allowed to pursue and prosecute police that use unnecessary force? That's our first question.
Well, for me as the sheriff, if those type things occur under my watch, you know, my rights will be to not only terminate, but refer them over to prosecution district attorney office. So I have complete authority to do that if I find that it has occurred under my watch.
Okay, then she has, thanks for saying that, not looking behind, but looking forward. That is honorable. However, the past is brutal in respect to non-white people. Yeah, I know you probably respond to that one, but here the next one.
Okay.
What have you learned from the past? You are definitely going to make sure it doesn't repeat itself or move forward into the future. That's it.
Yeah. So I start with that one first. You know, you always learn from what your past mistakes were. Fortunately, I wasn't there when a lot of these mistakes were made from the past. So I have a good outside viewing of what was done wrong. So it gives me hopefully a leg up and not to make those same mistakes twice. But what makes us great, and I tell my own employees this, but not falling behind on what we've done before. We got to look forward. But we know we have some issues. So our issues mainly from policies. Our policies and procedures was wrong. So we got to change the way we do business. So we got to first establish some good standard policies that are meeting industry standards across the United States. That way we can come into standard with every other sheriff's office across the state and the nation. So as we reestablish our policies and then change our culture, which starts from mid to top, I think that's how we're going to prevent from having these mistakes we've done in the past. And let people know that, especially employees, we don't tolerate less than greatness at our office. So if you're not doing what you're supposed to, and you're violating policies and procedures, and you're mistreating our citizens of Cobb County or any citizen that, for that matter, will not be tolerated here, and you probably won't be here much longer. You're most likely you'll be terminated. So I think once we set the standard that we're not going to have any mediocre employees, we're going to do everything up to standard, and we're going to be transparent in what we do and be truthful. I think that's how we prevent a lot of the discretions we had in the past. And what was the second one you said before that one?
No, that was it. The other one, I think you wanted.
And one thing,
Okay.
before the pandemic hit, we was very active going out to like halfway houses.
Right.
We used to go to the Evolution Center, Atlanta Mission. What other ones we went through? We had like 3 or 4.
Yeah,
right?
I can't think.
So
Men
we
and
try to make your job easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matter of fact, Noki, he went and spoke, did some more. Oh, that's her. That might be her calling in.
It's Woodstock, Georgia.
I don't know who that is. Real Talk with New Order. Announce who you calling from. What's your name?
My name is Brenda, and I'm calling from Atlanta.
Hi, how you doing, Brenda?
I'm good.
What is your question for today?
I was calling to ask a question about the jails. I was trying to see how he's gonna. Is there any changes gonna be made in the jail? I have a person that's an inmate there, and they're being locked down for 22 hours and only allowed 2 hours out to make calls. And I was trying to see would there a change be to that, and any type of TVs or any type of entertainment will be put in.
That's a great question. So currently, none of our we're not under any lockdown procedures, so they should be able to make phone calls as needed once they provided that opportunity. Regarding entertainment and things going forth, that is a privilege that we're going to bring back for our detainees or inmates that have earned that privilege. So I'm not going to give it to them just to put it out there. So as they do things to earn that, we bring those TVs back. They took them all out. So I said, yeah, absolutely, we'll bring them back. So we want to call this a compliance. So as they're doing everything they supposed to, no issues, and we're bringing TVs back. Everything that the prior sheriffs took away, I'm bringing back. But I'm not going to give it to them just because it's there. I'm going to give it to them so they have something to strive to get there. So as they be compliant, do everything we ask them to, then excuse me, they'll get those benefits back.
Okay, and as far as the mail is concerned, there's an inmate there that not receiving his mail. It's taking like quite a long time to get his mail, and I was just trying to see, is there a certain day or time that the mail is issued, or because it takes him about 2 to 3 weeks before he actually receives his mail?
No, that shouldn't be the case. Mail comes in every day. Once it goes through the mail processing system and is scanned to make sure there's no contraband or anything in that document, then it is actually delivered to the inmate/detainee. So if his mail is being delayed for some extremely long time, that's something you probably need to contact me about, and I'll make sure before I leave the day, I give you all the email address, so you can send emails to me or my assistant, and I'll definitely look into it for you.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very much welcome.
First time calling. I was about to say something. Do you have people come in and speak? Hopefully we can bring a program to your facility. Because before they joined, I used to go into like the juvenile detention center on county services and go back. And I have a good crew. Once this pandemic, I'm going to start reaching back out. Maybe we could kind of come in and do some motivational speaking. And,
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, we went to, I don't think you went, we went to Metro, the one Constitution, went to the women's prison, myself, the vice president. So we do that. So we're not just in the streets, making noise. We want to get inside and try to make everybody's job easier.
Right.
So
But I think that's a great thing that you're doing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Currently, we don't have any outside organizations coming in doing any speaking or mentoring our inmates/detainees.
Is it because of the pandemic?
Yeah, it was because of the pandemic. Okay. But as we start to get into hopefully, God willing, that this goes away within the next couple of months, we'll be able to look at bringing some
We
more
like to
programs
do that.
back in there. I think that'd be a great idea.
Because I read where you have like you're trying to start like a community liaison type of
Yes, that's part of
program.
my campaign promise that I want to create some different committees under the sheriff's office. And one of those I started, first liaison position I hired was for Hispanic community because I knew we had that gap in communication issue. So I brought a Hispanic liaison now. His name is Carlos Garcia. And he's actively working now to bridge the gap for us in our Latino population. So that's going very well so far. But I'm have some other communities. I think it's great. If your organization would like to come in and mentor to some of these young men and women, because they definitely can use that help.
Okay.
We just have to sit down because just go with what we can do and what we can't do legally inside the facility. But that's not an issue as well.
And we love to do that. I mean, we was doing that what every week. We was out.
That's
there
awesome. You know, I'm also bringing back the chaplain program. For some reason or other, it's just fell to the wayside. I think it's such a great thing or benefit for us to have worship, capabilities to bring inside the facility as well. Right. So we're bringing that back. We're instituting that. So we have our chaplains up with several different denominations there, so we can reach out to everyone in our population in our facility. So I think it's just a great benefit we need to bring back and give those young men some spiritual guidance going forth as well.
Well, in talking about the programs that you have and the initiatives that you want to bring in to deal with the recidivism rate, what do you think about what can be done about the bail system? As far as, I don't know if that kind of spills over into another area, but
it kind of spills more over into the legal aspects of the judges handle most of the budgets.
Yeah.
I approve what bail bond can be in my county. That is my purview.
Okay.
How many I want, what the bond amount may be for them to operate in the county, things of that nature. But how they're established is pretty much up under the judges and things of that nature. Bail bonds, amounts, and things is totally out of my purview.
Because the idea of, and I don't know, I would assume that it does contribute to the recidivism rate if you're being picked back up for a bail or bond violation. I may be using the wrong termination, but for something mundane or whatever, but it's a violation that gets you kicked back.
Yes, probably
in the
a
system.
violation of what got them in the first place. Because normally, if they're letting them out early or they may have some type of probational issues, if they don't meet all those probational standards, then they can revoke that bail, and then that's where the bail bond will come in. Hey, here, go pick them back up because the bail's been revoked or they didn't make their court appearance.
So nothing like you get pulled over for
No, it got to be another charge or something like that. It wouldn't be for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hey, I'd like to say this too, because I can speak from my own personal experience.
Right.
What I was gonna say is a lot of things that send individuals back into their prior lifestyle or way of life would be the culture. It's a culture acceptance of criminal behavior. And I think mental health, drugs, alcohol, all these things play, a part to a degree. And that the education or making them aware of what they're going through, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people can't break the change on their own. They don't have the mental fortitude, to allow them to appreciate what their life truly means.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why those of us in New Order, because we're a human rights organization, we dealing with the human aspect of these people. And we trying to awaken these qualities that's in them because they don't really know. You know what I'm saying? And then they already live in a society that marginalized them. This is the reason why a lot of times people may think that we just go toward race issues as a race debaters. No, we ain't trying to debate the race issues. We just trying to call attention to the reality and the reality that a lot of these young men and women are suffering from. And that's the reason why I say I'm speaking from my own personal experience.
Right. I got
going
you.
too far into
I got you.
My past.
You did bring up an important point I'd like to touch on is our mental health. For us and being law enforcement, specifically working at being a sheriff, we have a mental health crisis as far as I'm concerned. We're starting to receive more and more individuals coming out of facilities who have mental health issues. And I can tell you and honestly tell you this, being in jail ain't the place they need to be. We're not a mental health care facility, but we're getting a lot of people who have mental health issues, and bringing to our facility is not the place they need to be. And I would implore everyone to, talk to their state representatives, their senators, that we need to open up more mental health facilities across the state to get these individuals to the proper care they need, because locking them up is not what they need, because we're not prepared to treat them. We're not a mental health facility. We're not mental health. We're not doctors. We're not psychiatrists. So they need to go to a facility where they can get help. And if you notice, a lot of our facilities or detentions and jails across the state have an unbelievable number of people who have mental health issues. And they stay in there and they have issues. They get worse. And they may even come out worse than when they came in, because they're not getting the proper treatment they need. Right. So that's something you all can help with, because mental health, we're in a mental health crisis, and we need to do something to get those individuals the help they need and get them out of our facilities and get them the treatment.
That's a good, that's true. That is very true. I'm just excited the way this county is going. Now, how many, I know we got Victor Hill and Clayton. How many Metro Atlanta black sheriffs we have now?
Oh, you hit me good today.
Okay.
So,
County,
so I was, right, so you got,
on the news,
no, so all your Metro, your Metro is all,
Metro,
your Metro. So you got Cobb, Gwinnett, DeKalb, Fulton, Henry, Clayton. That's your big Metro. All those all have African American sheriffs. Wow. And Mellon is your only female sheriff in the Metro. Right. Wow. Mm-hmm. You have 3 new elected blacks, which is me, Kibo, and of course Melanie.
This year, huh?
Yes, we all made history. And Scandrette down in Henry County. Let me forget about my brother down there. He's doing good things.
So y'all talk sometimes?
Oh yeah, we talk all the time. We have a great relationship. We text and we communicate, email and on phone. We always in sheriff school together, so we all got a good relationship together. Yeah, okay. Right. And I think you're going to see some good positive things out of your Metro Atlanta sheriffs, because we all have a great working relationship. Mm-hmm. We talk on a regular basis, and we're going to collaborate on several different initiatives coming up in the future as well. Mm-hmm. And that's to make everybody's county safer. So you're going to see some big things from coming out of us.
One thing about Cobb, boy, when they say come on me and bust you. One thing I like about Cobb, I mean, the police is visible, the ones that's doing their job, but the ones that ain't doing it, it does cut down the crime sometimes. Right. I think we need police officers, but like I said, the bad ones that's on the force.
Them the ones you got to get rid of. That's like any other organization or company or Fortune 500. Everything you have, you're gonna have some. You're gonna have probably some undesirables, and just like anyone else, you got to find them and get rid of them. Right. And that's what we hope we do here, and that's for any sheriff's office or police agency. You don't want any undesirables working for you. So once you find those individuals, you got to get rid of them. Right. I think for me, I tell everyone I have 2 main focuses as sheriff, is to take care of the citizens of Cobb County and take care of my employees and their family. That's what I do. That's what I'm gonna continue to do and work hard to do that. That's a 4-year term, right? It's a 4-year term. Okay. I'm gonna give everything I got. I'm not banking on 8 and 10 and 12 years. I'm banking on 4. Do the best job I can do. No, I want to do as many as I possibly can. Okay. Well, one at a time. Okay. So some people goes, but I have to stop, because my wife said, "Hey, look, you may not want to work more in 8 years' time for you to come to the house." So my wife started tugging at me. It may be time to go home. But it's just amazing being in this position. It's a humbling experience. Very humbling. I
know it is.
Very humbling.
You never thought that.
And I tell my wife, I go to places now and people recognize me when even I got the face mask on. Mm-hmm. They say, and it makes me feel so good. They say that's my share. So when someone say that's my share, that's not the share. That's my share.
Because when you text me earlier today, you say, "What's the dress code?"
Right.
I'm like, come as you are.
Yeah, I want to make sure I come appropriate.
Your outfit, come as
right.
you are.
So I want to make sure I come appropriately, because some people, be looking for you to come a certain way.
Right.
But now going back to what you said before about being a politician.
Yes.
Also, and that other hat that you have to wear. I know it's only been how many days? 70-something days.
73 almost. Yeah.
But what kind of political, because I also know that you did something real, what would be considered politically controversial when it comes to shutting down ICE. Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about how the decision-making process behind that?
That was something I kind of ran on as well throughout the campaign. And, throughout the year now, I was researching a little bit more and seeing the effects of it. The immigration program that Cobb County was involved in. Basically, it is an immigration program, first and foremost. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's a federal mandated position that's ran by the federal government. And Cobb County was assisting with that program by providing manpower to that program. And I felt that that manpower could be more needed back here. With me being 70 plus definitely short, how can I give someone free manpower and get nothing out of it? The crime rate has really not increased because of the program. I didn't see the benefit of it. It just, to me, seemed like we was giving free manpower to the federal government to do their job. And so I felt, why not bring that manpower back? It has not affected how we do business in Cobb County. In fact, our crime rate has not went up because we eliminated ICE. And you will hear this. This is what a lot of opponents of this say. Well, crime is going to be out of the roof now since Cobb has gotten out of 287G, and that's just absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Absolutely not true. Cobb is not a sanctuary county. You come in Cobb County, you break the law, you will go to jail. And you will stay in my jail until you be released by a judge's order saying you can release or you make bond appropriately. You will not walk out and walk in because we're out of 287G. So if they believe that, come to Cobb County and see what happens. I guarantee you that won't happen. Exactly. So we're not having that. So I guess to make it I guess the short of it is this: we were giving free manpower to the federal government and getting nothing in return. So I took that manpower back from the federal government, placed it back in my facility where I needed it. Like I told you, I'm 71 short, and helped fill some of my vacancies. And again, there was no stats or data to back up that what they was doing was effectively changing our crime problems in Cobb County, and it hadn't. The majority of these individuals are being arrested for misdemeanor offenses, traffic violations, and things of that nature. And right now, most of your local agencies weren't arresting for those offenses anyway. So it just made sense for me to do that. And again, a lot of people disagreed. I got a lot of grief and heartache about it. But they'll tell you that Cobb is just running wild. And I'll tell you, and I say that again, come out here and break the law and see what happens. We're not tolerating anything less than we've always done here.
You can see, Kim, you do your research.
That's good.
She's prepared for you.
That's great.
Hey, I'd like to know, have you ever heard of the Cook County Jail in Illinois?
What's the name of the sheriff's
Chicago?
office? Is that Cook County Sheriff's Office?
Yeah, Cook County Jail.
Yeah.
The Cook County Jail.
I hired a guy from Cook County.
Man, now that jail there, you talking about terrible? That's horrendous. But over the years they came because of lawsuits. Because they used to have what they used to call 6-1. 6-1 was six. They're saying six officers or deputies to every one inmate. And when they come in there, they coming in and they laying you down.
Overwhelming with power, yeah.
Yeah, 6, and they called it 6-1.
And
when they did it, they ain't take no prisoners, and they wasn't nothing nice.
Wow.
Call coming in.
Yeah.
Who was that? I don't know who that is. Real Talk with New Order. Where you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, this is Lachey, and I'm calling from Atlanta.
Hey, Lachey, first time caller?
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Are you first time caller?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thanks for calling in. What you got for us?
So, I see that you guys have the sheriff in the building, and I have some concerns about the Cobb County facility. So I would like to know what steps are we going to do to take to work on keeping the inmates safe by following cleanliness procedures in there. Because I have a loved one behind the wall that complains on a regular about how they're not receiving things to clean their rooms out. Well, and, we are in the middle of COVID-19, not only even though they are isolated, quarantined before they get into general population, there is still a safety hazard at risk because germs and nastiness carry bacteria.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I'll tell you what we're doing. Since I've been in office, I was able to reach out to our board of commissioners, and they were gracious enough to put a lot of funding into our facility to make it better. We're getting a new air purification system that they're working on now. So we put some temporary fixes into place to make sure we got fresh air and clean air being distributed throughout the facility. We're also looking at more technology as we go forth to change out our whole ventilation system completely to make sure that we have any issues with our air quality. Regarding our detainees there, they are afforded to have any PPE we have, that's from masks to gowns to gloves, We provide that if needed. If they need that, we provide that for them. And currently, I like to knock on wood if I see any, but we have zero. I say again, zero positive case for COVID in our facility.
Yeah.
Everyone walk into our facility, when they hit that back door, they're scanned for temperature and they're given a rapid test before they even come into our door to make sure they're not bringing anything in. So we're doing that as well, trying to prevent that from occurring. And if we do have an incident, we are able to isolate, treat, and get them back healthy as quick as possible to get them back where they need to be. So we're going to spend a lot more money into our facility coming up since I got elected. We're going to be replacing, like I said, air ventilation systems, cleaning out our ducts. We're finna put on new roofs of our facilities. We're changing out showers. We're finna do a lot of major renovations in our facilities in the next 2 to 6 months.
And that's awesome. Glad to hear. But in the meantime, we can't get spray bottles with disinfectant in there so the gentlemen can clean their toilets out. Like, my loved one behind the wall says he's complained to the deputy several times about the nastiness of the toilets.
Right. So now, we normally don't.
Yet has they bought anything in there to him to clean it, no nothing. So you just got butts.
Right, I got you. Yeah, so, but
sitting on the toilet day after day after day.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. And only thing you can do is wipe it off with some water from your sink or something like that.
Right.
So
I understand what you're saying.
I'm sure it's something within the facility now.
Yeah. It is.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll check into that, but I can tell you, we don't leave, disinfectants and things like that with our detainees because unfortunately, some of them may try to drink and they can commit suicide and poisoning and things of that nature. So I can look at other ways to get things in there. If we're having an issue, this is the first I'm here, and I'm definitely looking into it with our deputies to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep their cells/pods clean in a timely fashion as well.
Okay, so and one more question, I'm gonna let you guys go. Like, when are they gonna come off a lockdown? I mean, they're locked down 22 hours out the day. They only come out for 2 hours out the day. There's no TVs. There's a limit on books they can get. So, and I do understand it's jail. It's not supposed to be a nice place,
right.
But I don't think it should be a mental breaking place. No TVs, locked in a room with somebody for 22 hours, and you only get a limit on how many books that you can have. Like, can we work on that? Like,
absolutely. So
in there, that's fine. But can we have unlimited books sent in? They can turn it back into their property or whatever. But
okay, so I'll address a lockdown. So they're not locked down. What they're doing is being kept in a certain area because of we're not letting them move around because of the potential spread.
They kept where?
They are not locked down. They're being kept in their pod, which means they can only,
That's not true, sir.
Yeah.
They're kept in their room.
Well, no, they can come out.
I'm telling you what I know. I talk to my loved one every day.
Okay. Well,
he's on the schedule.
Okay.
They only come out for them 2 hours out the day. They do not be in the pod like that to roam around free.
No.
If I was in my car, I could give you the schedule that he's allowed to come out his room.
Okay. So let me tell you how it works. Okay. So what happens is when I say a pod, he can come out his cell, but he's only allowed to stay right in that general area. He's not going to be able to walk around cordially throughout that whole pod area. That is absolutely true. But he has to stay within that pod area. Now, what we're doing is trying to increase that, allow them some more time, but we're coordinating off right now because of our COVID. We're keeping them in certain areas to make sure we don't have that spread of disease. Now, regarding the TVs, that's just something that the prior administration took out. There's not a TV in that facility.
My car's locked. I'm bringing him in. My car's locked. I just bring him in. I'm bringing him in.
You still locked, man.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so in regarding the
I was just talking to somebody about something they were trying to get my attention.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, so
saying that they can come out their room, but they got to sit by their door.
Yeah, they can only stay within that general vicinity. They can't walk around the whole area and just freely, as you say, free roam around. No, they can't do that. That's correct. So, but that's not considered lockdown. Lockdown, if they stayed in their cell, can't come out. But they can come out. They have to stay in that general vicinity right there in front of that cell area. That's true.
You might want to check into that because that's not what's being said.
Okay, I'll definitely check into it and make sure that there's nothing going on I don't know about.
And I can look into the thing. There's nobody outside their cell, and I'm sure nobody wants to be closed in their room. If they had the option to be able to come out and sit outside their door or their cell door be open, and kind of get the freeness of the air in the car to come in, I think that wouldn't be as bad. But honestly, I could tell you that that's not going on.
Okay, well, I'll look into it to make sure. But
So
when I
you
go
might
through there,
wanna
that's
check
that's how
into it.
I see it when I go through daily. So, but
Well,
I double check.
congratulations on your new seat. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
look forward to you making changes, and you ain't got to make it pleasant, but you know, don't make it so bad. I know jail ain't supposed to be a happy place to be, but you know, everybody still deserves to be treated like a human being, like, you know.
Absolutely, you're 100% right.
Some people are behind the wall for being falsely accused, so it's not fair that they being falsely accused and being treated inhumane at the same time.
Right.
So, you know.
Okay, I got it covered.
So good luck on your journey, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen to me, and I'll be watching to see what happens.
Please do. Keep me on my job.
Thank you for calling in, Leah. Call back in. You're a first-time caller. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
No problem. You guys have a blessed day and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
All right.
All right,
You too.
All right.
So what are the as when you say you came in, you took stock of the place, you made that determination about ICE after you looked at the resources and
Right.
everything. What are, let's say, your top 2 issues that once you took stock, you said, okay, I want to address these by a certain time period, and then what metrics are you going to use to
Right.
measure your progress?
Right. So I had a 100-day plan. So I'm still working within that first 100 days to meet everything I had. I want to get accomplished in 100-day plans. And I'm about 72% close to getting that done. One of the main things you want to start, well, one was the eliminating 287G.
Okay.
The second was bringing in an outside auditor to come in and to review our jail practices and procedures. First, to make sure that we're operating within the industry standard, and then to come in and just do an overall assessment, top to
An
bottom,
outside
bottom to top.
auditor.
Outside.
Okay.
Outside audit, which is on ground Monday. They'll be here for like 3.5 weeks to do their audits, and they'll tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, and then we'll address and release that to the citizens of Cobb County so they know how we performed in the audit. That's the jail audit. Not only did I stop there, I want to do a budget audit as well to make sure our finances are being done, spent correctly, and we're being good
No
stewards.
waste, no
Right, we're being good stewards of
fraud,
the
corruption, none of
taxpayers' money in Cobb County. So they started as well, and that's another about a month-long audit for our books, our finances as well, to make sure we're doing everything correctly with that. So those 2 things are going on right now. I ended the ICE program. I'm also a part of that 100-day plan was to commit some committees together to help me formulate going forward how we're going to do better in our facilities. So there's community action groups we're putting together. One would be on our overall jail standards and procedures, help us come up with some policies that we're doing things that our community can be involved in, i.e. could be bringing back TVs, other things of that nature, just have them involved in our policies and procedures, as well as hiring. I'm going to be one of the first sheriffs around to have a citizen, that's not a sworn person sit on our hiring board to help us make sure we're hiring, the best and diverse people going forward. So I think that's a great thing to do as well. We're looking at a citizen oversight committee to have someone sit on that for us as well, to make sure that when we're out here doing disciplinary things for our officers and deputies, that we have our citizen on there to help us out to see how they view things as well. So I'm trying to involve our community in some things that we're doing going forward, so we can show that trust, transparency piece.
Good. And speaking of like involving the community, can you tell our listeners what is the procedure they should follow when they're out and about and they encounter, one of your deputies, and if they want to file a complaint or if they even want to file a commendation, what is the best procedure to get that started? Because I feel like, and I don't know what kind of records you guys keep. I got an idea, but in terms of the complaints and things, and how public those are, we're just wondering does it make a difference if people actually register complaints or
Absolutely. I encourage if they feel we're doing wrong, complain. I can tell you
what's
something.
the best way how to go about it?
Yeah. Let me tell you, I think the best thing that we can do as a community is complain when our officers and deputies are not doing the right way, because that keeps us honest. Because some people are like, well, I guess I should be mistreated, and they take it. I'll give you an example if I may. if an officer on the south side of the county talks to people on the south side differently do on the east side, because the south side is majority black, and he can curse and just disrespect them on the side of the street. But you go to the east side and you talk to them like they're, yes sir, no ma'am, and but now here you say yeah right, and you cursing at them. We can't have it. So we got to be across the board the same way. So I employ everyone who has a complaint to call. It'd be 770-499-3900 for us, and ask for our Internal Affairs Division and file a formal complaint. And we will look into every complaint. Ask for the officer's name, badge number.
They communicate to us is
absolutely.
something that you could.
We do have a policy about being courteous. We have to treat everybody with dignity and respect and be courteous on the scene. We shouldn't be out cursing at folks on the side of the street. We should
really deal with it. She gotta go. You gotta go. Okay, we about to wrap it up in a minute. If you need to leave, though, Sheriff. We got. Can you wait 10 more minutes? We gotta leave now. You gotta leave now.
10 minutes.
We're about 10 minutes. Okay.
Hey, I got one. I want to say this because I said this to Mr. Brody.
Yeah.
And what I'll say to you is this here, and it's just something you can just wrap your mind around.
Right.
Prevention is better than abstinence. We can tell people to abstain from their prior behaviors, but we got to be able to prevent them from getting to that point. And the only way we can get that is to start spreading the message, so we can change this culture. Because this is the reason, like what we was talking about, mental health. This is why they criminally insane. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm saying that to be facetious, but serious.
Right.
They're criminally insane because crime or being a criminal have became a way of life. And then when you dealing with, when I try to mention about the Cook County sheriffs, when you dealing with people's in law enforcement, when they become the criminal, whether it's police brutality or whatever, any type of misjustice.
Right.
This is how those people who live a particular way of life, they start to think along those lines. And I think that when we start focusing on that, and we're able to, like what you were saying about, even when that little sister was calling and she was talking about her loved one being there, this is the complaint that they probably was giving, but hygiene got to be paramount, because this is the spread of disease.
Oh, absolutely.
We know that came all the way back during when the world was less civilized. But if we can steer them away from that way of thinking, like you were saying about complaints,
right?
And you keep on following that train of thought, I think you're gonna do a great job. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. I sincerely hope that during my tenure here that I can make a big difference. I think if nothing else, I want to make sure we have one of the best detention centers in the state of Georgia. It's going to take time. Again, I've only been here 70 plus days, and this, for lack of a better term, mess we're in now didn't happen in 70. It happened over decades. So, but some people are expecting me to fix this problem in 60 or 70 days, and it didn't start that way. It started 10, 12, 20 years ago. So it's going to have to take me a little time to get in there and get it fixed.
Cobb County never had TVs.
They had a few. They had a few, but not many. Yeah, maybe a couple. So, and they never really had a lot of reading periodicals they was giving out as well. That's maybe why they got sued a couple times.
I remember they used to say Cobb County was the only jail never had TV.
Yeah, they had maybe one or two, not a lot. So we're looking at changing the way we do things, and trying to make it a little bit more, as you say, humanely distributed. And that's what we're going to work hard to do. But again, in 70 plus days, you can only do so much. And I have to prioritize what I'm going to do in those first 100 days as well, because I want to make sure I'm making some of the promises I told the people who helped me get elected I'm doing, like doing an audits of the jail, and getting rid of the 287G program. Another thing I did, which didn't answer the question completely, was that I made a decision that we would never, ever again investigate only deaths in our facility. Meaning, some people say, why are you investigating yourself? So I agree. So going forth, I made a decision that anyone that has unfortunately died in our facility will be investigated by the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigations. That way, automatically. So it shows that transparent. I'm not trying to hide anything. I want someone else to come out and sign, and if we did something wrong, we're going to fix it, and we're going to deal with it. You know, it's like this. When something happens wrong in this agency, I'll be the first one you see when it's doing right and when we're doing wrong, because that's where it should be. So I know there's some things that we haven't gotten to yet, but we're gonna get there. Like I said, I only been here 70 plus days, and just give me a little time to work in there a little bit more to get to some of these things that I haven't gotten to yet. Okay. And I'm working on. I think it's critically important is building that trust between us and the community. And I think as I get that trust factor built, then the community know that I'm going to do the right thing, even when no one's looking. That's what I'm getting at right now.
Is that your business card?
It is. I want to make sure
we
I
got
leave
about 5 minutes left. Okay. Any final words you'd like to say?
Well, again, yes, a couple. Mm-hmm. Thank you so very much for inviting me. I'm sorry it took us so long to get linked up to have this occur. It is such a humbling experience to be the sheriff of Cobb County. As I said, it can be it's a blessing and curse at the same time. Everyone have a lot of high expectations of you. And then you got on the other side, you got everybody wants you to fail. So everything you do right is not mentioned, but everything you do wrong is magnified. So I understand that, and that's the cost of being the boss, I guess. I got it. So just give me an opportunity to make good on some things I say I'm going to do for the county, and then please then come back and make an observation. Say, well, he did this, he didn't do this. But in 70 days is a short turn to make a whole turnaround that something's been wrong for a long time. But we're making headway, I tell you that much.
Well, definitely you can, use New Order as an avenue, as a tool to help with that transparency with the community, the liaison with the community. This platform, whenever you want to get a message out to the community directly from you to them, you're welcome to come here and do that anytime.
Thank you so very much. May I say one thing? Go ahead. I think it's very important. I want everyone to know that, hey, Cobb County is hiring. Cobb County Sheriff's Office is hiring. I'm looking for a diverse work field, educated, people who's willing to work and who willing to be dedicated to the profession. And not only am I hiring deputies, I'm also have civilian positions that can be from administrative positions, maintenance personnel, engineers, etc. So we have a whole lot of jobs available for individuals who are looking for employment. So please don't say there's not an opportunity.
Give out the information right quick.
Oh, absolutely.
You need your card to give it up.
Well, no. Well, I'll look on again, but I should know it. But my wife gave it to me. She'll make sure. But
she did slide it.
Yeah, she did. But you can always give us a call at 770-499-4200, or you can look at Craig for CobbSheriff.com. There's information on there for the hiring process as well. We are, again, on a hiring blitz. Please come out if you're looking for employment, and we'll definitely talk to you, and hopefully can get you employed here with the best sheriff's office in the state of Georgia.
Okay. Any final words? I know we're done with you, Sheriff.
Okay.
Anything you want to say before we close out?
I'm just saying it's great, man, hearing from people's man wanting to do the right thing by the people's, instead of people's man just trying to take a narrative and fashion it the way they want to. But,
right.
It really sounds like you trying to do the right thing, man. And justice ain't two-faced it.
Right.
And just like truth, it ain't no multiple truths. It's only one truth.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I agree.
Any final words, Kim?
No, I'm just super excited to be in partnership with you to the changes that you have in store, that your vision is one that is refreshing and very much welcomed and needed, and I do believe that based on that vision, you do have the potential to be a model sheriff department for the state and then for the country. So I feel like I'm excited to just, partner with you.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate it. I'd be remiss before I leave if I did not say this, that I am part of one of the greatest men fraternities that's existing. And I'm part of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity.
Omega.
Is it? Oh, really?
George Grace.
Okay. Outstanding. And so if I did not tell everyone that, your listeners, that I am a Omega man and proud to be a Omega man, and that's part of our heritage coming up from us getting that good education and getting that good fraternity backing. And I think it's just added to me being successful as well. So I just make sure I give that shout out to all the Omega men listening today and let them know that we're doing the right thing for our community going forward.
I just want to say I want to thank my New Order family, not I, but we across this country. We're doing great work. I'm looking for my next business trip. I'm going to Toccoa, Georgia, to address some issues there. You know, because I do a lot of traveling. I was just in Ohio, my hometown. I'm dealing with some stuff. It was a family visit / business.
Right.
You know, so I thank God, you know, once this pandemic get lifted again, we would love to come in and do some motivational.
Absolutely. More than welcome. Love to sit down and
talk.
talk. So how we can set that up.
But that's about it. It's been Real Talk with New Order. Thank you for our first time callers calling in next week. Same time between 5 and 5:30. Be a part of Real Talk with New Order. I want to give a special shout out to my man DISCO100 Radio making this platform happen. You know, and we need some free. Matter of fact, you could subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to as well. It's free. You don't need to. Oh, you so sad. Hey, that's the first time he said that, ain't it? Okay. I'm messing with you.
This is the only good show on the
Okay. It's been real. I love you all. Peace.
Thank you.
All right. No, you turned